Let's take a breath together. So our theme this month is promote diversity and inclusion. And we are pairing that with the Ernest Holmes statement from what I believe. I believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. And part of the reason why I paired this month with that is that word emancipation, which as an organization we've actually edited that in our current what we believe statement to freedom. Ernest's original statement was emancipation. Emancipation has to happen to get to freedom, which is why I keep going back to it. Emancipation also tends to be a bit of a trigger word in our society, especially right now in what's going on. And so I invite you to listen with spiritual ears instead of political ears. Because diversity, inclusion has nothing to do with politics and everything to do with people. Okay? So we're not talking about politics. I don't care what your politics are. I truly do not. Don't care who you vote for. I care that you vote. My hope is that you vote from your heart, not your head. But I don't care how you do that or when you do that. That's your business. So what of this thing of unique but different? Most of us raised on planet Earth were raised with some degree of acknowledgement of our uniqueness. You're special, you're unique, there's only one of you. And it typically comes about when we're not feeling so unique. You know, that those in our lives that love us, and I count it that way because sometimes that wasn't our parents, sometimes it was someone else in our lives that loved us, remind us that we're special, that there's only one of us and that we matter. And then we start stepping into the fullness of that, and then comes, don't be that special. Anybody else get that? Shine really bright. Oh, not that bright. Shine. Just don't outshine me. So we've all grown up with this entrenched, mixed message. And what it equates to is that what we're really indoctrinating one another to is the idea of uniqueness, but the practice of sameness. Now, I gotta tell you, I'm looking around the room, I don't see any sameness. Even these chairs, I have vacuumed all of them. They're not the same, even though they look the same. Every time somebody sits in them, the fabric is moved slightly, and they're a little bit different. And yet, we create this beautiful comfort zone where we think we're safe in sameness. And we are in no way exempt from that as religious scientists in Centers for Spiritual Living. Anybody else familiar with the phrase like-mindedness? Anybody else intentionally seek those folks out to hang out with them? So my challenge to you today is to consider that maybe folks that are not like-minded have something of value to offer you as well. Because here's the truth. There are no two minds in here right now that are alike. There aren't. Every one of you is thinking independently. Every one of you has slightly different preferences, slightly different perspectives, and we need that to grow humanity, to grow our experience, to grow spiritually, and really need it to grow this center. Because I've said it before, I will continue to say it, if I am the greatest authority you have, the situation is already way worse than you thought. I only have the ideas I have. Some of them kind of mediocre. Some of them are nuts. And some of them are just really bad. I know, I've put them in place in my own life. And it's like, what were you thinking? But sometimes we don't know it's a less than great idea until we put it in practice. And so we put it in practice. We get feedback from the universe that educates us that, yeah, that good idea, not so much. The beautiful part is we shift. We change. But if we're stuck in this land of sameness, we won't change. What we will do is create the tension of stress and frustration. It's interesting coming into a community that's well established. And it's established well, and it's well established. It's both. And we have some entrenchment that we're working out of. And you know it shows up, whether it comes out of your mouth or it just comes into your head. That is not how we do it. That's called stuckness. That's called exclusivity. And I want to tangent here for just a minute about stuckness. Stuckness is not the absence of movement. It is the repetition of movement. Because nothing in this universe is absent of movement. The experience of stuckness is the experience of doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. We get it yet? And even when we're like, enough already, we do it again. Because something inside of us has fallen asleep to our own magnificence. If you take a picture of the sunrise every morning in the exact same location, at the exact same time, with the exact same camera and the exact same aperture setting, you will not photograph the exact same sunset or sunrise. You won't. Nothing is the same. Thank God. Can you imagine how boring it would be if every day was the same? Now, Groundhog Day was a funny movie, but I don't want to live it. So here's the thing about sameness when it comes to people. I have props this morning. Let's use water. Okay? It's water. In that form, it's water. Still water. Right? In the form of ice. But it's no less water. Still water. In different expression. Perhaps we could begin to give people that same latitude. Perhaps we could give one another that same appreciation. Because when you want a cold drink, ice matters. When you want to go ice skating, ice matters. Skate away. Good luck with that. And yet, for some reason, which ultimately we know, we want everybody to be the same. And if we're telling the truth, we want sameness in people because we want things our way. Ouch. It's true. It's not bad. It's not good. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just a thing that we have got to own in order to navigate it. Now I want you to imagine for just a minute that you are living a life where you have gotten and are continuing to get everything you ever thought you wanted. Is that really the life you want? I've wanted things that in hindsight I'm really glad I didn't get. You got to include all those things too, because if we're going to play in the land that I get everything I want, then you have to get everything you wanted. See, and some of our wants, in hindsight, not so much. I mean, how many of us have seen that person in the distance and, wow, they're really attractive and I'm intrigued. You think for a brief period of time that you actually might want to be in relationship with that person. And then you learn a little more about them. And you learn that they have a criminal record about gay law. Or that they are deeply entrenched in substance addiction. Or that they are violent in nature. Or that they look really good on the outside because someone else is paying all their bills and propping them up and they haven't worked a day in their life. Still want to be with them? Probably not. Some of us do. That's okay too. My point being, difference matters when it's to our benefit. And when sameness benefits us, we want that. And we have to get really clear that this whole activity of exclusion is one of self-centeredness. It is one of capturing people for our benefit without regard to how they are impacted. And that is a misuse of principle. That is a misuse of the creative process that lives as you in your physical body. Now we can go back historically and look at all the places that happens. Or we can begin to live in the correction of it. Now, I was personally challenged this week by the enactment of the ban on transgender people in the military. It actually went into effect. And I had to put what I preach into practice. Because my initial reaction is to lash out, is to meet that stupidity at the same level with my own stupidity. The problem is, if I do that, all we have is a stupidity match. And the only thing that can win there is stupidity. The reality is, none of us is our behavior. That ban is the outpicturing of false beliefs. It is the outpicturing of this idea of the safety of sameness. It is the hierarchy of supremacy being re-expressed, because as a human race, we somehow found comfort in supremacy. And it's not just in gender. Okay? And so if the word supremacy triggers you, do your work. It's nothing for you to defend against. It's a reality in our human experience. And it's lots of places. Okay? It's race. There's a supremacy in race. There was a supremacy in gender. There was a supremacy in education. There was a supremacy in economics. We're developing new levels of supremacy in food types and preferences. And I watch us literally, verbally beat one another up over our choices of food to put in our mouths. Really, people? If you want to be a vegan, be a vegan. If you want to eat meat, eat meat. Put more food in your mouth so there's something in there that keeps you from beating people up with it. It's none of your business how anybody else eats. Really. I mean, as one in recovery from addiction, what you put in your body doesn't get me high. What you put in your body doesn't make me fat. I do that all by myself. And it doesn't even matter what I put in there. The reality is I'm putting too much. Same thing with addiction. The drugs and the alcohol don't create addiction. If it did, everybody who used it would be an addict or an alcoholic. They're not. Get over yourself. Seriously. Supremacy has got to go. Now here's the trick. We can't get rid of supremacy while focusing on it. Because what we focus on grows. So what do we focus on? I have an idea. Inclusion. Equality. And you have to start with you. Because you cannot include anybody else until you have included all of you. And so those wounded little places in you where you want to brag on yourself but you pull back, that's got to go. I have to look into the camera for just a minute. Mary Karuba, this is your spot. My friend Mary Karuba, an incredible human being, just incredible. Brilliant beyond what I can wrap my head around. And she has navigated so much in life. She's a brilliant comic. She's a brilliant speaker. She wrote a book about the women of 9/11, women at Ground Zero. And she has an upcoming comedy show in Santa Rosa, which has sold out not once, not twice, but 3 times. They keep adding seats. And all of a sudden I see this post on Facebook with Mary Karuba apologizing for the plethora of posts about her upcoming show on Facebook. And I'm like, do not make me drive to Santa Rosa to do an intervention. And the reason I bring it up is to point out sometimes it doesn't matter how much success we have. There are still those little places that say, oh, pull back, you're shining too bright. Someone will be upset. Guess what? You're right. Someone will be upset. So What? So what? Would any of us be upset if the divine decided to not shine quite so bright? I would. I've been breathing everybody. Those last 10 too much. Let me stop. Let me pull back. What if the divine did that? Who gets to not breathe? And if I'm being really honest, I hope it's somebody other than me. Those places in you that are still operating from the lie that it is somehow your job to manage someone else's comfort zone by playing small, got to go. They got to go. So how do you do that? It's real simple. You own it. You own it. And then you love it. And then you stop giving a rat's rear end how anybody else cares about you or thinks about you. And you go about the business of being you. I'm going to close with this phrase. Those that mind don't matter. Those that matter don't mind. Let's take this into prayer. Breathing the breath of the one, the infinite, I recognize that in truth it is breathing me. That there is only one source, magnificent in its being, creating in incomprehensible multiplicity, uniqueness, differences, no sameness at all. And yet each form of its brilliance is fully infused with everything that it is. It dreams my dreams, it thinks my thoughts, it breathes my breath, it beats my heart. And what is true of me is true of all. And so I take this moment to speak my word into law, realizing a divine revelation of the very truth of my being. A demonstration, a visible, palpable, recognizable demonstration of standing squarely, perfectly, unapologetically in the brilliance of creation as me. I speak my word, claiming and affirming that all who choose stand in that same place. And that I celebrate each effort, each divine revelation of this is who I came here to be. And I am about the business of being it. I claim and affirm that we celebrate every expression of divinity. Every expression. That we consciously see beyond behavior to know the truth of who is behaving. And we celebrate each expression of divinity there. At that level of beingness. At that level of uniqueness. Knowing that the only healing that is ever required is a revealing of more truth. And so we hold the truth for each and every emanation of spirit and form. Knowing that we are all freed as we emancipate ourselves from every false belief that enslaves us. And as we release ourselves, we release one another. Grateful to know that this is how it works. And it works the same every single time. Grateful to know that it was done before my words were formed, because it was done in mind. And words are in form. Words are the evidence of what is done. So grateful, so incredibly grateful. I feel it in every fiber of my being as I am filled with joy. And so it is from this place of joy, from this place of knowing, from this place of faith that produces gratitude, that I release my word, which is the word of the one spoken as me, into law, the activity of the one that only knows yes and is already said. I invite you, if this prayer resonates with you, if you choose it as your own, to join me as we sit together.